Hello, today's question from an IT leader is, how do I handle my fear about letting my team down?
Okay, that's an interesting challenge.
Quite a common one.
Yeah. Most leaders I've known have had some concern around their ability to do their best by their team. Whether that's not representing their interests enough, or not being able to provide some strength at a moment of crisis, or whatever. There are lots of opportunities to feel like you're letting a team down. You're certainly put in a position of, or can be, as a leader of a team, as someone that should be possibly the strong one, should be the capable. Perhaps socially, at least, there's a lot to lose before we even start.
And it's, I think we've talked about this before, but as a leader it can be a really lonely position, because you may have a huge team, but you are generally on your own leading that team, and sometimes you don't connect with your peers, so it can be really hard sometimes to talk about the worries and fears and the challenges, and trying to spin those into opportunities when you're talking about it in your own head.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, that's the first point entirely, isn't it? You're not alone. We all worry to a degree about letting our teams, our peers, our colleagues, whatever, down. This is an interesting question, because this could be so many different personal circumstances. I would probably start with a "how do you think you're letting them down?" question. Or talk to me about the evidence that shows that you are letting them down. So is it a reality, something that you can talk about, or you're just worried, and we're almost touching on imposter syndrome here, where you think that your own capability isn't good enough to be able to not let them down?
Or perfectionism, because you are trying to do... Trying to have everything perfect, everything ticking, customer expectations, team expectations, leader expectations, and you're juggling quite a lot of balls, but that feeling of perfectionism can drive that.
And you can ironically let your team down by trying desperately not to, because you don't allow them the opportunity to fail or the opportunity to grow by themselves. You become controlling the other end. So certainly the first place really to be here is, what are you worried about? And probably some follow-up, what's the worst could happen kind of questions, or exploring what that reality would mean. If that fear came true, what would that really mean? What would the impact be to you, to them, to the organisation? Those kind of questions. How else would you help here? What tips would you have?
I think you can do things like be honest with yourself, and you talked about the team thing, but are you really letting other people down, or is it just you're worried about letting yourself down? What is the reality? And actually, are you really? Because you could be delivering so many things and have a fantastic team, and yet still, this touch on that perfection, you're still got higher expectations for doing more. You could be setting it on yourself. Sometimes it's good to have a look at the last couple of months and what you've achieved, and just writing, even the simplest, straightforward things down to the really big ticket things. How would people recognise that? What are you known for? The other thing you could do is get practical and visualise what you need to do in order to succeed and not let people down. So you could look at a time where where you thought it was really amazing and you delivered something great, you felt great. What did you do? How did it make you feel? What's different to that, to the situation now? Sometimes people think it's situational and environmental.
A lot of what we've been talking about is individual.
Yes.
So perhaps a route here, or a thought anyway, is around, back to evidence in a second, but a conversation with your team. So you may not be right now in the position where you feel that you can be this vulnerable and open with a team to say, I'm really worried about letting you down. am I providing you the support that you need? Am I giving you the space that you need to be your best? And boy, that's a good question. If you're brave enough or vulnerable enough to ask that question, and you can get your team to engage in it, that could be hugely informative and support change in both of you. But I'm just thinking about if you're worried about letting the team down, there's no evidence for it other than your own thinking about it and your own emotions and the way that you're viewing a situation, and you haven't spoken to the team and asked them even how you're doing. Perhaps that's a good place to start. It may be a misplaced fear in the first place.
Yeah, it could be. And people who feel uncomfortable with that could start with, so how are we all doing? You know, are we delivering what we set out to deliver? Is there anything we can do differently? You could have it as a shared responsibility, but then you start iterizing it into, in your one-to-ones, how could I help you more? What could I do differently? Or, you know, so it becomes less vulnerable in a sense, because you're all in it together. And I think, be honest with your team, you are all in this together. It's not just you and them, it's us as an entirety.
Yeah. It might also be worth one last thought about team as well. If you've got some colleagues that you trust, or even an external party, even better in some ways, that can join and talk to your team without you, with you, and just help you see a slightly different, hold a mirror up to what's going on, some coaching effectively, then that could really help you here. If your team behaves utterly different when you're not there, then there's obviously something not quite comfortable or open in the relationship, but they can help you explore that. This one's so difficult because it is wide. We could talk about it for a long time, but we're making so many assumptions about what the person is worried about that we're kind of coming up with general statements. Talk to someone, and if you've got no one to talk to your team.
Maybe a final point, if it's a genuine worry that you have and that fear, it could be that you're adventuring into something of an unknown. So it could be a fear of, I haven't done this before, or this is new for me. It could be a new role, it could be a new team, it could be something new. And those natural fears, or we know what brains are like, natural fears are sort of building in your own head. So you could see it as an opportunity, okay, what can I learn from this? What's it trying to tell me? What can I do next?
Yeah.
Who do I ask? Who do I speak to? And, you know, but take a look at it.
Yeah. I think that's where the external help is so powerful, because the neocortex, the bit that just does all that rationalising, has got to overtake the limbic fireworks.
Yes.
I like that phrase. But all of that stuff's going to be getting in the way of making you worry. So you're right, and we wish you the very best of luck. Please call us and let's have a conversation if you're stuck still, because individual situations are individual situations, and we'd love to help you.
Okay, thank you very much. We hope that's given you some tips. As Stephen said, do get in touch if you need some support. But we'll catch up with you again very soon. Thank you.